Coyne, and today we're going to be doing the Chemical Reactions Lab for Unit 8. So you should have your lab printed out, and you'll see on there the materials list. Make sure you get all materials in one spot. I would recommend doing this in your kitchen, so in case there's a spill, it's easy to clean up, and you won't get your computer destroyed or any personal belongings. So over here I have all the materials. So first thing on the list is the vinegar. So you're just going to want a 1/4 cup of the vinegar. You can measure that with any measuring cup you have. Second thing on the list is a teaspoon of salt. So grab your teaspoon measuring spoon here, and you'll need 1 teaspoon of salt. And then 20 pennies, which I already have counted out here. And then 2 steel paper clips. So you just want to make sure that if they're metal, they're steel. If you want to confirm that, you can use a magnet and make sure that they stick to the magnet. Because some paper clips are plastic. Those won't work. And then you want to have, if you can't find those paper clips, then you can use 2 iron nails. And any length will do. They can look different, but most of the nails will be iron unless you buy specifically a different type of nail. So I don't need all these, but I'm just going to be doing both just so we can see the differences. And then you need disposable cups or bowls. Mine aren't disposable, but I don't care if they change color or anything, so I'm using these. They're glass, but disposable works just as well. And I have 2 here because I'm going to be doing both the paper clips and the nails, but you only have to choose 1. And then you're going to have your paper towels handy and a plastic spoon. It could be a metal spoon too, but the plastic would work best. And then your Post-it notes or note cards. They don't have to be Post-it notes with the sticky stuff. They could just be a note card or a piece of paper ripped up. And then finally a camera or phone so you can attach pictures. If you're using this video to do the lab, then you won't have to attach pictures because obviously you're not going to be conducting the experiment yourself. So that concludes the materials portion of the lab, and the next portion we will start looking at procedures. Okay, we're ready for step 2, our procedure. So we're going to take our vinegar and we're going to pour a 1/4 cup of vinegar into our bowl. And here's my 1/4 cup measure. And then I need to add my salt. So it's just 1 teaspoon of salt. And then you can see for number 2 under here it says stir the teaspoon of salt into the vinegar. Be careful, you have now just created a slightly stronger solvent called hydrochloric acid. So obviously it's very dilute, but you still want to be careful and follow the lab safety protocol. So make sure you're not splashing it. If you get it on your hands, you can just wash your hands. And if you would splash it on your clothes, wash your clothes. But it's pretty dilute, so you shouldn't have to worry about any color changes in your clothing or anything like that. But it is enough to sting your eyes, so you definitely want to be careful with that. So I'm going to stir that up, actually, with my plastic spoon here. Okay, so we just paused the video so that we could get some stirring in there without boring everyone too long. So I would say that probably took about a minute, minute and a half of continuous stirring. And we were able to get the salt to dissolve in the vinegar. And now step 3 says put my 20 dull pennies. And I didn't have all 20 dull, so I did put a couple shiny ones in there. But I think that's good because then we can see the difference. So I'm putting all 20 pennies. in my solution, being careful not to splatter it. And then under step 1, we have number 4, let them soak for 5 minutes. So on my timer here, I'm going to start my 5 minutes, and then we will turn the camera back on at the conclusion of the 5 minutes. Okay, so our timer just went off, so we're going to make a quick observation before we disturb the pennies and take note of how they look different now from before. And I'm going to continue following my steps on my procedure. So we are on step 5 here. It says use your plastic spoon. Remove 10 pennies from the bowl and place them on the paper towel to dry. You're going to label it unrinsed. So I have unrinsed here. So I'm just going to place 10 pennies onto that paper towel. I'm going to try and leave as much acid in the bowl as possible. Those 2 pennies are stuck together, so I'll have to fix that later. So see if I can get these spread out a little. So there's my 10 unrinsed pennies. Then step 6 says using your plastic spoon, remove the other 10 pennies and rinse them off with water before putting them on the paper towel to dry. Label these rinsed. So I'm going to use just a dish here to grab these other 10 pennies because remember, I need to save this acid for the next step, step 3. I'm sorry, step 2 under the procedure. So I have my 10 pennies here. I'm going to walk over here and rinse them in the sink. I'm going to rinse them a couple times to make sure I get off any acid solution. Alright, and now it's okay to touch it because it's just water. So I'm going to come back over here and place these on my paper towel. And these, again, are okay to touch because we just rinsed them off with water. So I'm going to spread them out. And if I look at step 7, it says take a picture of your 2 sets of pennies and place it here. Your lab will be slightly modified if you're using the recording, so you won't have to take a picture since you don't have any of this set up. But then it says for step 8 that we are going to need to leave these here for 3 hours. So we're going to stop the recording and come back in 3 hours. And then we are also going to fill in our observations. Okay, here we are, ready to start step 2. And step 2 under procedure tells us to set 1 paper clip or nail off to the side and add the rest of the paper clips or nails into the bowl of acid. So if you looked in the materials, it says for paper clips, at least 2. I have 3 paper clips. So down here, I'm going to take one of these and set it off to the side so it's not going to be in the solution. And then I'm going to take these 2 and I'm going to put them in the solution. But if you look at number 12, it says look closely at the bowl and answer observation question 4. So as soon as I put these in here, I want to answer observation question number 4. Right here. What observations did you notice when you put your paper clips or nails in the acid? So we're going to put these in. And then we're going to make an observation. And then we're going to record our observation under number 4. Okay, so we have everything set up from steps 1 and 2 under procedure. So we need to make sure that we're leaving these items sit for 3 hours. So right here we have our pennies unrinsed and our rinsed pennies, and this is from step 1. From step 2, we have our paper clips, and then I chose to also do nails just to see the difference. But all of these items need to sit here for 3 hours. So we will be back in 3 hours. Okay, so we are back at step 2 and we've waited 3 hours. So we're looking at number 14. Using your spoon, remove the paper clips or nails and place them on a paper towel. So I'm going to remove the paper clips first. And then the nails. Oops. Okay. And then it says to record your observations by answering numbers 5, 6, and 7 on your chart. So you want to answer those last observation questions. And you're going to refrain from taking a picture since obviously you don't have the things set up. So this will be modified to suit your needs if you're using the video to do the lab. And then for the pennies, for numbers 2 and 3, it had asked what they look like after they were first placed on the paper towel. So again, you can just use the video and kind of, I guess, rewind the video and look at what they first look like, because these are the final pennies after 3 hours, which are much different from pre-3 hours. So I guess if you want to take a close look at the unrinsed pennies and then the rinsed pennies, so you can record your observations in the chart for 6 and 7. All right, and then when you have filled in all of the observation questions, you're going to go to the analysis questions, and there are 6 analysis questions, so you want to make sure you're answering those. Complete sentences if needed. Some of them are just one-word responses, but some of them will ask you to explain, so if it asks to explain, please explain for full credit. And if you have any questions, you can ask us during our live sessions. Good luck!